All right, hey guys, it's Jim from Find Your Marathon, and look, I want to apologize for the gratuitous shots from Josie, our pit bull, right off the bat, because when we were trying to shoot the video today, yeah, Josie, she wasn't having any of it. And any of you own a pit bull, then you know that whatever they want, that they're gonna get what they want. So it's just easier not to fight them. Anyway, so it's Wednesday. We're gonna give you a little Wednesday wisdom and really just a good strategy going into almost every weekend. And I want to entitle this video like, so you're going to a party, right? And really, so we literally went to a party this last weekend, and it's weird. And I want to say this up front. I'm on a very special diet because I'm an endurance athlete, right? I'm getting ready for another race. And so I've been working off a ketogenic diet for the last 5 weeks. A lot of great things about keto, a lot of pitfalls, easy things for you to kind of run into and mistakes to make. And one of the things that you can't really do on a very strict nutrition plan is there, dude, there's no cheating, right? Like there on this one, I'm just telling you, there's no cheating. If you cheat, you are back to square one, and you really are going to start having some major problems, and you're not going to get results. So far, in the 5 weeks I've done this, the results have been great. I've lost 5 or 6 pounds of body fat, kept and maintained the muscle mass that I wanted to keep. I was able to run a 50 kilometer ultra marathon a couple weekends ago, basically on a handful of peanuts and some pickles, which I'm going to tell you was really kind of freaky because normally I eat a lot during those things. And so it's been working really well. And as we get ready for our next race in October, I'm keeping ketogenic. Daphne, who's shooting the video right now, she's keeping ketogenic. And so we're kind of doing this together. I know, baby, I love you. Okay, I'll cuddle you. Anyway, so we were going to a party. We were going to a party at Sky Zone, right? Nice little bounce house. Gonna be fun. I got to do the ninja course they have, which I'm gonna tell you, at 40, I completed the course. It was really hard, but I actually got it done. Which, when you're comparing yourself to 11-year-olds, really makes you feel good. Anyway, but it was gonna be a pizza party, right? And it's a little unrealistic to expect other people to kind of adjust around you. And one of the things that you have to realize anytime you're doing any sort of nutrition plan is you've got to figure out strategies and ways for you to get through this. God, okay, I love you. I know. All right. You've got to figure out strategies to get through this and still live your life and not feel like you're depriving yourself. And in this case, man, if I don't pay attention to her, she's very needy. All the pit bull owners know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, so yeah, we're not going to bring our own food to something like this, right? We're not going to go there and ask them to do something special for us. And it's not that the family wouldn't. It's just that it's somebody else's party. We're not doing that. So we went into this party knowing that the temptation was going to be everywhere, right? And I'm going to be honest with you. I love pizza, right? And when I say I love pizza, like it's an unnatural love of pizza. The problem that pizza and I have in our very personal relationship is that I can't have a piece of pizza. I can have the pizza and feel really great. But the whole idea of having a slice of pizza like a normal human being, my brain it's not wired like that. And you don't get to 350 pounds if your brain is wired properly in terms of your relationship with food, right? And so that's one thing to kind of realize, like right off the bat. So, what do you do if you're going into a situation where there's going to be a lot of temptation? And if you're going to walk into a situation like that, starving or hungry or feeling deprived, you are setting yourself up for failure. And that is not a failure of your willpower. That is a failure of being a human being, something that we all kind of go through, right? The most elite athletes, the most disciplined people on the planet. And I'm going to tell you, I might not be an elite athlete, but I'm pretty disciplined, right? In terms of how I eat, in terms of how I take care of myself, in terms of how I work out. You don't go from 350 pounds to being able to pound out a 50-mile race for funsies without being pretty disciplined. So I'd like to think I got really strong willpower, as strong as my pit bull Josie here. But even I can't. I don't have that kind of willpower around cake, right? So one of the things that you have to decide if you're going into any sort of party situation, you have to decide, and this is a Tony Robbins thing, and he's awesome. If you want to, get a lot of great advice, watch his videos. You don't have to spend a dime, and you'll learn an incredible amount, and feel inspired. But one of the things that he always talks about is whether or not you are a moderator or an abstainer, right? Which basically means this: can you have a little bit of something and be okay with it, or are you one of those people? And this takes some real, man, you got to really kind of know yourself and be honest with yourself. Are you one of those people that if I have one piece, it's 10, right? It's easy when it's alcohol or drugs. We all know what that looks like. We're an addict, right? And those people we give a pass, because guess what? When it becomes to alcohol or drugs or sex or name whatever weird addiction you want that leads to self-destructive behavior, it's really easy to stop doing those things. And I don't want to imply that addiction's easy, but you can stop drinking, you can stop doing drugs, and you're still going to live, okay? You don't need the crack pipe to get through your day, to sustain life, right? I don't want to make a joke of it, but, it's kind of what it is. But you do have to eat something. And that's what makes food addiction so incredibly hard to overcome, because you're around it. 2/3 of Americans are overweight or obese. It's not like people are going to really even make fun of you anymore. So there's not the social stigma, because everybody looks bad. All you have to do is look around. So instead of going into the party thinking that I'm going to have a little, I went into the party saying, and we had this conversation at home, well, what are we going to do? Are we going to have a little? Are we going to have a piece of cake? My son's birthday was recently. We kind of went through the same thing. And the answer was, no, we're not going to have any. Because we don't have that ability to do it. Not only will our nutrition plan not allow that, and then we won't get any progress, right? Well, in fact, we're going to probably backslide and end up back at square one after we've put like weeks and weeks into doing this. Not only that, but if we had a little bit, it was going to turn into a lot. And then we can't stack up consistency. And if you can't stack up consistency, you cannot make progress. You probably heard this saying, you can't outrun a bad diet. You can't. And I promise you, I've tried. I really wish you could. If you could outrun or out-exercise poor nutrition, I promise you, I would run 15 miles a day for the ability to have pizza every day. I would make that sacrifice happily. But it doesn't work like that. And you have to know that about yourself. And if you're a moderator, then great. We can pick a nutrition plan that's going to allow you to do those sort of things, and you are going to have probably an easy time getting through this. But you want to know what the dirty secret of moderation is? If you were really good at moderation, you wouldn't be overweight. You wouldn't be unfit. You probably aren't even watching this video. Love you, but you're not. So the reality is you probably fall into that second category of someone that just can't handle that. And it doesn't mean you never get to have it again. It doesn't mean that you have to stop enjoying life. You cannot wrap your happiness and your life around what you eat. You know why the experience at the jump park was fun? It wasn't fun because there was pizza and ice cream cake, delicious Oreo cookie ice cream cake, mind you. Very tempting, very yummy looking. That's not what made it an enjoyable experience. Being around your family and your friends made it an enjoyable experience. Celebrating a kid's 7th year on the planet made it an enjoyable experience. For me, being able to get up the warped wall was an enjoyable experience. Not to brag, but I'm 40, okay? So I was really happy and proud of myself. Don't care that the 11-year-old could do it. I'm way older than you, right? I didn't see any other dads kind of doing that. That's what made it an enjoyable experience. Being there to live life with the people that you care about is what makes it enjoyable. That's what makes birthdays so special. It's the ritual of gathering that makes it special, not the stupid cake and ice cream. That's just a bonus we do as kids because, yeah, it's yum, and usually it's okay then. But if you're trying to live like no one else, then you have to live like no one else. Even if there's some ridicule, even if there's some peer pressure, even if people are looking at you crazy. It's funny when Daphne and I got together, everybody kind of thought I was nuts. Part of that is I'm a little introverted. Funny, I have a YouTube channel, but whatever, and I work in the public eye. But generally pretty quiet at parties. And I'm always doing these crazy races, right? Like, what are you doing now? Like, how do you have to eat for this? What's going on? Like, yeah, can you watch the dogs this weekend? Because, Jim's going to run 100K. Like, I'm a little crazy, right? And they've come to accept that part of what we do. And it's okay. But it's still, there's a lot of peer pressure, and it's not, nobody ever does it intentionally. It becomes wow, well, of course you're doing this, so yeah, go ahead, here, just have a little bit, it's okay, just a little bit, it's fine, come on, we're Latino, you can just have a little bit, right? It's fine, come on, mijo, just a little bit. Okay, so I know it sounds like a really simple solution to a very complicated question, but what did we do? We ate. We ate before we went into the party, right? We ate something that was going to fill us up for a few hours. In fact, we made some keto bread. Daphne will probably post the link up on the Facebook page later today at Find Your Marathon. Had some of that, got a little bit of the cravings out of the way, went into the party, had a great time, and then, yeah, everybody else enjoyed it. And look, it's not our job to make anybody feel bad, right? People ask, yeah, no, we're good, thank you. And that was it. That's how we got through the party. That's how we did it. And what we did when we immediately went home, and I'm going to tell you, especially when I kind of had to talk Daphne through the whole, like, the Oreo cookie cakes comes out, and we're feeding it to our 2.5-year-old daughter, Alex, and my son James is having some, and she's like, man, I'm like, look, we're going to eat as soon as we get home, right? I know we've been running around Sky Zone for the last, hour and a half. We're all sweaty and exhausted. We're going to eat as soon as we get home. So got a low-calorie drink, right? And made sure that we were hydrated, got home, made a delicious meal. And you know what? We got to enjoy the party. And afterwards, we had none of the guilt that's kind of associated with it. And honestly, that's what happens. And if you really go back and you're really honest with yourself when you walk into these situations, and really if you're desperately trying to change your life, you walk into these situations and you slip up and you're just like, oh my God. And maybe in the moment it tastes so good. God knows anybody who's ever been on a pretty restrictive nutrition plan probably has dreams about carbohydrates or pizzas or whatever. And you really, like, the cravings can become pretty powerful. Or you miss the food that you love so much that probably ends up being an issue for you. And it's there for a minute, and then you immediately, like, within 20, 30 minutes, you're like, oh my God, why did I do that? Like, you ever go to the Chinese buffet? And I can tell you, I did this. You go to the Chinese buffet for the first time in, like, 6 or 7 months, and man, I ran 20 miles today, I'm going to Chinese buffet. And then you're sitting on the couch in the fetal position with Josie, and you're like, oh my God, why did I do this? It's so terrible. And then you kind of just want to die a little bit inside. And what really hurts beyond the actual physical pain of it is that all that work I did that week, that 20 hours I spent in the gym, gone. And I'm right back at square one. So while it felt good in the moment, like most things that feel good in the moment, it wasn't a good long-term thing. And that, for me, was a really tough lesson to kind of learn along my weight loss journey. I think I lost 125 pounds before I finally was able to admit to myself that I was doing that fairly consistently, and that's why I never took that next step, right? And if you're sitting there and you're asking yourself, like, man, I'm working in the gym and I'm dieting and I'm eating better and I'm doing everything that the trainer or the videos or the whatever, like wherever you're getting your information, I'm doing everything that they tell me to do, but it's just not happening for me because I'm special in some way that I physiologically don't work like 99% of the rest of the planet because I'm a special snowflake. You know, what's probably happening is that you probably done that over the course of your week and sabotage any chance you had of making progress. You might not want to admit it, but if you were honest, that's kind of it. So, to kind of recap this for you, if you're going to a party this weekend, if you're going to a situation, you know, it's Wednesday, if you're going to a situation on like Friday or Saturday or Sunday, football season is rolling around, so this is a really good time to start paying attention to this sort of thing. You first have to really, really understand yourself as a human being. Can you have a little bit? Or are you one of those people that just have to say no? If you're one of those people, and you probably are, sorry, guess what? I'm one of those people too. So you need to eat before you go. You need to walk into that situation full. If you need to bring your own snacks and they're good friends, they'll understand what you're doing. You know what? Most people at the end of the day are good people. If you explain to them why you're doing what you're doing, and you're like, listen, you don't have to do anything for me. I got my own thing going on here. And you tell them what you're trying to do, most of your friends, they probably want to see you live anyway. And if they don't, then they're not good people. And if they're trying to tempt you, right? And I'm going to tell you, this is really hard. If you have someone in your life, maybe they're overweight too, or maybe they have some sort of other dysfunction going on too. I don't know. And this is one of the really sad things. When you start taking care of yourself, that reflection, it's like a mirror, and other people see it and they don't want it for you because it reminds them of how far they need to go. And if you have one of those people and they're not going to change, and you've done and everything, I'm not saying be mean and eject people from your life just for kicks, but what I am saying, if you have tried and they legitimately would rather see you fail because it makes them feel better, yeah, you might want to really consider kicking them out of your life because you don't need that, right? So, eat before you go. Understand who you are as a human being. Walk into situations where you are set up to succeed, not to fail. And if you fail, guess what? New day starts tomorrow. And I'll leave you with this in terms of that. How many times have you walked into a situation on a Friday night, you've overindulged, pancakes sound really good at midnight after you've had 5 or 6 beers, or 10, and the next day you're hungover, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh my God, I'm hungover, I can't do this, why did I do this last night? You know what, it's Saturday, I guess I could get up and go to the gym, or I could do this, but you know what, why don't we just go to brunch later and have the pizza tonight, we'll go to brunch tomorrow, we'll start on Monday, right? It's the whole start on Monday thing. And so one bad day becomes 3. And then Monday never comes. Ask yourself if that's what's really been happening. Probably. If you don't let one bad day turn into 3, and if you consistently learn how to navigate situations that normally kind of throw you off, and if nothing else, make some better bad choices while you're there, if you continue to make those kind of decisions for you, you know what happens at the end? You become one of those amazing transformation stories. Because guess what? You're not that different, right? You can be one of those people if you decide that's what you want, if you rewrite your own story of who you are and who you want to be. Have a great week, everybody. We'll have another video on Sunday. We'll be covering the 7 things you need to look out for if you're picking a nutrition plan. 7, I'm not going to tell you which nutrition plan to pick, but what I am going to say is These are the principles you want to apply. If you do that, you will be successful. We're going to post that video on Sunday. Have a great weekend, everybody. If you liked the video, if you feel like you got a lot of great information out of it, please subscribe, and then make sure that you hit the bell so you get the notifications to see when we post another video. Also, please like us on Facebook at Find Your Marathon, and you can also follow me on Instagram at Find Your Marathon. Have a great weekend, everybody.